Tonight, the attack that stunned the nation.
World Trade Center, we took a hit on that last explosion.
Caught on camera.
We gotta get everybody out! Let's go!
Inside the World Trade Center.
I saw the second one hit the other tower.
As the first tower fell.
Battalion 1, Division 1, where are you, Steve?
On a day we'll never forget.
Command post in Tower 1. Evacuate the building.
9/11.
For some, September 11th, 2001 seems a lifetime ago. For others, it was just yesterday. But for everyone in this country, the ruthless attack that happened on that clear, sunny day is seared in our minds. Good evening. I'm Dennis Leary. The entire nation gasped when the Twin Towers, reaching high into the sky, symbols of success and achievement and possibility, were brought crashing down when two hijacked jetliners flew directly into them. Here at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum are the names of the almost 3,000 innocent lives that were lost that day, including 343 of New York's bravest. CNN is honored to bring you the epic film 9/11 that was born when two French brothers, Jules and Gideon Naudet, with fellow filmmaker and firefighter James Hanlon, were shooting a documentary about a rookie New York fireman in downtown Manhattan. On September 11th, their film about a year in the life of a young firefighter was transformed into a gripping, minute-by-minute eyewitness account of the first responders who rushed to the scene and tried to save people while the towers burned, then fell. The Naudet brothers kept their cameras rolling, capturing historic footage of New York's real-life heroes, heading towards danger in the area that became known as Ground Zero.
When you work in a firehouse 7 blocks from the 2 tallest buildings in New York, you get to know every step, every staircase, every story.
This morning, Jim. Couldn't get too close to that razor blade.
I'm James Hanlon. I'm a filmmaker and was a New York City firefighter at Ladder 1, downtown. During the summer before 9/11, there were days we'd go to the Trade Center 5 times in a single shift.
10-4, we're going to also send you some help.
My point is, we knew those towers as well as anybody. But nobody expected September 11th.
Go to the Trade Center.
On that day, guys from my firehouse, my best friends, were some of the first firefighters into Tower 1 after the plane hit. What they did that day, what everyone there did, was remarkable.
Chief!
And almost as remarkable, it was captured on videotape, inside the tower, beginning to end. And tonight, you'll see all of it. The tape was shot by two brothers, Jules and Gideon Naudet.
Holy shit.
They're documentary filmmakers and old friends of mine.
There is always a witness for history, I guess. That day we were chosen to be the witness.
The strange thing is, the tape, the whole story, it kind of happened by accident.
I mean, we didn't mean to make a documentary about 9/11.
We wanted to make a documentary about a firefighter. That's how the whole thing got started.
9, 10, 1, 2, 3.
More to the point, the plan was to follow a rookie. On the job, we call them probies.
The idea was to show how a kid, almost, become a man in 9 months.
My name's Paul Denver. John Carroll.
Antonios Benetatos. Tony for short.
I was a police officer.
For a while, I was a pizza man, actually, an Irish pizza man in the Bronx.
This is my first job. It sounds kind of cheesy, but I always kind of wanted to be a hero, and this is really the only thing you could do that you can do that.
Immediately, we're like, okay, this is the kid, let's go.
We got Tony assigned to my firehouse, one of the biggest in the city. It's Ladder 1, plus a whole other company, Engine 7. They're guys who fought some of the worst fires you can imagine.
What's up with that shirt? What? What's the matter?
Soon, they'd face the unthinkable. Question was, would Tony be ready?
I'm terrified. This is what I want to do, but it's scary. You know, I'm still worried about how I'm going to actually react when there's fire flying over my head.
Thing is, when you're a probie, what you're supposed to do
We got to do the sheets. We change the sheets in the mornings.
is pretty much everything.
More news and traffic coming up. It's 6:22.
Get all the wheels, then we start up top and we wash the rig down.
I think I'm doing decently. You know, I'm still waiting for a fire, that's all.
Engine, ladder.
Should we grab that big long thing from the back, too?
Tony was nervous, of course, terribly nervous. And as the days would pass, Tony, waiting for his first fire, wanted to prove to the other guys, and even more to himself, that he was going to be a real great fireman.
We're gonna break your chops till you laugh about it.
Right.
Because that's how we do it.
It's all part of learning how to handle people and situations.
Now, say you got up there now, got your helmet on, your bunker gear, and you got to get your mask on. How you going to do that without letting go?
I don't know.
Okay, stop moving, guys. Hot in here, hurry up. Not bad. Payday today, baby.
Yes.
For 2 weeks, I got $672.25.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You couldn't even buy a six-pack with that. Holy crap.
If I wanted to get rich, I would have become a lawyer. But I wanted something that I'd be able to live with for the rest of my life. This I can live with.
A lot of the guys feel that way.
You need to get up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror and say you're doing something with your life.
Somebody's in there, hit the door.
You do your job, you risk your life to help people. And to be part of a family at the firehouse.
How you doing, Jimbo, huh? Doing pretty good? Yeah? Oh, man! You know, was that a happy?
It's been 4 weeks, I think, 5 weeks, something like that. And I'm still no fire. But It'll come. Probably when I'm asleep and not ready for it. That's when it'll come.
It's 2:30 in the morning, bro. You can sleep. You can.
All right.
Trust me. When the alarm goes off, they'll come and get you.
Spray water. They're all like that. It's going to be a fun 20 years.
Hey, there's fire over here. Here's the fire, see? Start the line, put out the stakes.
By the end of August, we knew that we had a great cooking show, and there were no fires.
But every time we would talk with some of the senior guys, they always told us, well, be careful what you wish for.
Yesterday, a 27-year-old firefighter, Staten Island he was stationed, went to a job and he passed away. We'll go to the funeral on Saturday and what can you say?
At the time, we didn't think there could be anything worse than losing a single firefighter. I mean, looking back, we were kind of innocent, especially Tony.
A bunch of the guys were talking about what different parts usually get them at the funeral. When the coffin went past, that was a little rough. I don't know. I hope it's my last one.
So go straight up right now. There's a lot of things going on at all times, you know? You have to be on the top of your game.
Right.
There's a lot of things to think about, you know? Tunnel vision, focus, really, because that's what's going to keep you alive, and that's what's going to give you the opportunity to help anybody else.
Right.
Fire or no fire, Tony had learned a lot that summer.
Bring him up, get him over the roof, make sure...
Sure, he had a ways to go, but we'd teach him. Far as we knew, there was plenty of time. A few days later, Jules cooked a French dinner for the guys. At least he tried to.
Decided to cook leg of lamb.
I think he cooked one, and we really needed at least 5.
Where's Frenchie? A couple more meals like this, we'll be able to share shirts.
We stayed up late, just telling jokes and busting chops.
This is the best part of the meat.
Even though the guys were making fun of us because we didn't cook enough, we were all having a great time. We were getting accepted.
Silence! Touchdown!
It was really a great night. Little did we know.
It was the night of September 10th.
sunshine throughout. Low humidity. Really a splendid September day. The afternoon temperature about 80 degrees. Great weather for the primary election. Tonight, clear and cool, though, 60 in Midtown.
It's begun to sound like some sort of a cliche. But really, September 11th started out like every other day. I was off that day. 13 guys from my firehouse were on.
Around 8:30.
Engine, matter.
I believe the run came in.
You get the run for the gas leak, or an odor of gas in the street, actually, I think it was.
It's just Lispinard and Church, odor of gas.
Yeah, I don't think anything of it. You get on the rig, you go, you say, all right, it's an odor of gas.
Jules was riding with the battalion chief, Joseph Pfeiffer, videotaping.
It was just another call, and I'm riding with the battalion chief.
We checked the area with meters, and it was kind of routine.
It was 8:46 in the morning. That's when this stopped even resembling a normal day.
Right then and there, I knew that this was going to be the worst day of my life as a firefighter.
Go to the trade center.
Immediately, I knew this wasn't an accident.
Oh my God. That looked like a direct attack. What?
Chief Pfeiffer made the first official report.
We have a number of floors on fire. It looked like the plane was aiming towards the building. Transmit a third alarm. We'll have the staging area at Vesey and West Street.
Everyone we was passing was looking up. It's like the world just stopped.
We are just currently getting a look at the World Trade Center. We have something that has happened here. Flame and an awful lot of smoke from one of the towers. Whatever has occurred has just occurred within minutes, and we are trying to determine exactly what that is.
There you are, Chief. Want me right in there? You know, go right in front.
As we swung around in front of World Trade, my mind tells me, wow, this is bad.
What do we do? What do we do for this?
We park right under the awning of One World Trade Center. Chief Pfeiffer puts his gear on, and I remember asking him, Chief, can I come in with you? I want to come in with you. And he says, yep.
Yeah, you stay with me.
Come in with me, never leave my sight.
Who got the can?
I go in, and I hear screams, and right to my right, there was 2 people on fire, burning. I just didn't want to film that. It was like, no one should see this.
Pfeiffer was the first chief into the building. Right away, a guy from the Port Authority told him the damage was somewhere above the 78th floor. But all you had to do was look around. It was obvious. Something had happened right there in the lobby.
You just saw that all the windows were blown out.
The lobby looked like the plane hit the lobby.
Later, they'd figure out that flaming jet fuel had shot straight down the elevator shaft.
All of this damage was done already. People was all over the place. So you knew it was going to be worse when we got upstairs.
Flames are shooting out. Smoke is pouring out.
I want you to get an engine and team up. Get an offside line. Walk to 7. Okay, I want you to don't go any higher than 70.
My main concern was we had 20 floors of people above. And we had to figure out a way to get them out.
We don't have an elevator
As it turned out, we had no usable elevators.
With the elevators out, there was only one way to get up there. Walk.
Companies come in, you see them with a concerned look on their face, and they're sent up.
A firefighter in full gear, carrying 60-something pounds of hose and equipment. Takes about a minute to climb one flight of stairs. These guys were looking at 80 stories just to get there. Then they'd start working.
I felt the mood that we were going to put the fire out. Everyone seemed to be confident. I know I was.
You basically looked at it and said, okay, we got 10, 20 stories of fire. You know, we'll deal with it. We'll get up there. You know, we'll get to it.
There are fire crews just screaming into this area from every conceivable direction.
By this time, some of the top chiefs in the department had joined Chief Pfeiffer, running the command post, sending guys upstairs. One of the men who went up was Lieutenant Kevin Pfeiffer. He was in charge of Engine 33 and was the chief's brother.
I just remember we both looked at each other, said a few words, but it was more the look with a real concern that this was going to be something tough.
It's going to be a tough job. It's going to be a long job. They'll put it out. That's what they do.
The last time Jules had seen his brother was an hour ago, at the firehouse. Far as Jules knew, Gideon had followed Tony, the probie, into the tower.
So for me, my brother is going up the stairs.
It turns out, Gideon was with Tony.
Engine 7, ladder 1. This is firefighter Benetatos.
But Tony was still at the firehouse.
Yeah. No, I was off duty.
And now he'd been ordered to stay there.
Everybody's been recalled. All available units must come back to the firehouse.
While Tony tried to keep up with the phones,
this is firefighter Benetatos.
Gideon took his camera and started walking down towards the trade center. He was sure his brother was inside, and he wanted to get to him.
What's really stuck in my mind is passing by these people and filming them and filming their astonishment. And remember tilting the camera back and forth between the people and the tower in front of me.
Both towers of the World Trade Center have been hit by aircraft. Both are in flames.
There is black smoke coming from both of the towers. It's a horrific scene here.
Mayday. There were two planes. I saw the second one hit. It hit the other tower.
All we knew was that a second plane hit, and we had a lot of people trapped.
Stay together. Let me know what's going on. We're just going to have to walk out. One way to go. Second plane just missed.
Now the chiefs would have to set up a whole other operation over in Tower 2.
I'm going to send him up. I get no chief up there.
when the second plane hit, that's when you could see fear.
Both of them are on fire.
You could see it in everybody's eye.
You saw a plane going? A plane went straight into the building, right there. We heard boom in the house. What are those people gonna do? On the second one? All the elevators are blocked out. Yeah. Well, the staircases must still be, right?
Stairs were crowded. People were coming down burnt.
Upstairs in Tower 1, the guys from my firehouse were now 10 floors up and climbing.
If we did talk, it was to the people coming down, trying to comfort them, tell them it's all right, get out, stay calm.
I wound up finding a woman in the C staircase. Her arms were all burned. She was just sitting there, basically in shock. So I picked her up under her arms, and I put her in with a group of guys, and I asked the group of guys to, take it down.
I knew we had to get up to help people. We had to get up there.
People pretty much said, why are y'all going up there? Get out.
Their concern was to get everybody out. That was the key. As much people out as possible.
Most of the people in Tower 1 came out on the mezzanine above the lobby. Then they'd get out through another building.
All right, I want to use the lobby of 7 as a triage.
The chiefs didn't want anyone going through the lobby doors. First, it was because debris was falling outside. Then, it was people falling.
You don't see it, but you know where it is.
What's that?
And you know that every time you hear that crashing sound, it's a life which is extinguished. It's not something you could get used to. And the sound was so loud.
I just remember looking up, thinking, how bad is it up there that the better option is to jump?
The FBI is now investigating reports of a plane hijacking before these crashes we're telling you about at the World Trade Center towers this morning.
Pieces of the building and the planes actually landed blocks away. Gideon was walking with his camera when he found a chunk of the plane engine that had crashed completely through Tower 2.
Don't be kicking stuff over here. This is evidence. No, you don't kick it. All right, just get out of the area. Just go. This is evidence. You're kicking stuff. What's the matter with you?
That was as close as Gideon would get to the Trade Center, without a firefighter anyway.
So I decided that the smartest thing to do was to slowly walk back to the firehouse and find a way to go to Jules.
We're just getting word now. One of the two planes was hijacked after takeoff from Boston. This is
two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
We now have reports of a fire at the Pentagon. Fire at the Pentagon being reported this morning.
I was just saying that the officials are calling this an act of terrorism. They're saying that's clearly what it is, clearly not an accident.
Arriving back at the firehouse, and Tony is still alone, and he has no clue of what to do.
The Pentagon's on fucking fire? War. This is war.
And just by listening to him, freaking out and swearing and behaving like I've never seen him behaving, Tony was expressing what we all felt.
I can't believe the fucking Pentagon. Somebody has balls.
Tony just wanted to go there.
In the lobby, the Chiefs were trying to run the largest rescue operation any of them had ever seen.
You got a phone that's working?
I think the entire world knew more than we did. Everybody had seen the attacks. Everybody had seen the tower burning.
De New York, un avion s'est encastré dans une des deux
Had seen the
tours.
Pentagon. For us, we didn't have a clue.
Port Authority, police, and the military. And I need that done now.
On top of everything else, just talking to the guys in the stairwells was tough.
Fort David to Battalion 7.
The tower's internal communication setup had been knocked out by the crash. That left fire department radios.
Suddenly, you have hundreds and hundreds of firefighters that have radios. Seems to become more and more difficult.
Is there anyone in this car? Is there anyone in this car?
You had one guy from the WTC who was trying frantically to reach anyone on the elevators.
69 car. Anyone in this car? Oh, is there anyone in this car?
And going through the list,
Hello, is there anyone in this car?
and there's about 98 elevators in the World Trade Center.
You can't speak.
In the middle of all this, suddenly an elevator opens up. And you see people not having a clue of what's going on because they've been stuck in there since the first plane hits. I was seeing the look on the firefighters. It was not fear, it was what's going on. Disbelief. That made me panic a little bit. That made me panic. It was the first time I had seen Father Judge, the chaplain, as he's called.
He was in the lobby with us, and I could tell that he was praying. You know, Father Judd, he would at least make eye contact with you and kind of give you a reassuring look. That wasn't occurring, almost like he knew that this was not good.
This is a dangerous way to go out.
Back at the firehouse,
What's up?
off-duty guys were starting to show up.
You know, we're just waiting right now.
What's that?
We're just waiting right now.
Tony was, he just had one thing in his mind.
This is bad.
To go there, and he couldn't.
2 alarms right away.
And that's when Chief Burns arrived.
I need a cup of coffee.
Larry Burns joined the fire department in 1957. He retired in 1998, a battalion chief.
I couldn't wait. I had to get down there. Because you know what? They're my firefighters. It's my building. It's my city.
Leave your gear all together, get a flashlight, and a bottle of water.
Okay.
I remember Tony asking me to bring him some gloves, medical
Grab
gloves.
a box of gloves. Go grab a box of gloves.
And by the time I found them and rushed back, they were gone.
The probie and the retired chief were lost in the crowd, headed down to the Trade Center.
I think at that point, the lobby was pretty empty. There were just a few of us in the lobby, and we were discussing tactics.
This is Tower 1. This is Tower 1. Put a big 1 here.
Some of the outlying companies didn't know what Tower 1 was and Tower 2. So we were just trying to help them out by writing it on the desk to make it obvious to people.
It was just before 10 o'clock. A little over an hour since the first plane hit. Firefighters from all over the city were inside those towers. Hundreds of them.
I remember I'm filming Chief Pfeiffer, and he's on the radio.
A situation that started bad just gets worse and worse and worse. The World Trade Center, South Tower, which was hit by a plane and racked by an explosion approximately an hour ago, has totally collapsed.
What happened?
If you're just joining us this morning, you're in for a horrific surprise.
The scene here is just one right out of one of the movies you would see in Hollywood. People walking around with cell phones and tears, holding their heads, looking up at what's left of the World Trade Center, just shaking their heads in disbelief.
Out on the street, everyone knew what just happened. The South Tower was gone. They saw it collapse and ran.
I waited. Time slowed down and everything became pitch black.
Everybody all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
How's the way out of here?
And then realized, okay, I'm not dead.
Yeah, right here.
So let's turn on my floodlight on top of my camera.
All right, come on down this way. Yeah, let's get out the way we came in.
Come on back. Everybody down.
Inside the Trade Center, all Jules and Chief Pfeiffer knew,
Yeah, right here.
all anyone knew, was that something had gone terribly wrong.
All right? No, come in.
They asked me, you with the light, to help us out.
We gotta get everybody
So
out.
it was pointing my light wherever they needed it.
Where's Chief Cowan? Right here. Where's Chief Cowan?
I remember seeing Chief Pfeiffer.
Command post from Tower 1. All units. Evacuate the building. Command post to all units.
He gave it right away, very calm, didn't wait. And it was, for him, it was a precaution. It was, okay, something wrong is happening. Let's get everybody out.
Where's that flashlight?
From the tone of his voice, I knew that it was no normal thing. I knew it was time to leave.
I remember saying to the guys, well, we're on our own now.
And for the first time, I looked in someone else's eyes and saw fear. Which you don't see with the firemen. We orderly evacuated. It was such a long walk, 21, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13.
And I was going down the stairs. I can remember a fireman resting on the landing and telling them, you know, we've heard a mayday, get out of the building. I don't think a lot of them, I know for a fact, did not take it serious.
Sarge? Come on.
I was not even consciously filming. I was just had my camera by my side and pointing the light wherever they needed my light to actually help someone. And then I realized it was Father Judge.
Hey, guys, here, we need a hand here.
We saw him lying at the base of the escalator where we were. And I removed his white collar and I opened up his shirt. And I remember checking for his pulse and realizing at that time he was gone.
All right, we got 4 guys. Yeah, I got it. Top of the escalator. Top of the escalator?
Top of the escalator.
After that, we had to figure out how to get out of where we were.
Because if you go out this way, right where we are now, people are still jumping, debris is still falling, and it's too dangerous. You cannot go out this way.
In World Trade Center, we took a hit on that last explosion.
Which way?
We get out here? Going out this way, too?
Chief Pfeiffer tells the people carrying Father Judge, okay, stay here.
Which way?
I told them that I'll be back and wait here, and I'll see if the bridge is still here.
Chief Pfeiffer went to check one of the footbridges leading out of the Trade Center. If it was still standing, it'd be their best way out.
Did you hear what happened with the other tower? You see the tower collapse? The top or the whole thing?
Looks like the whole thing. We'll head down together. Without
And now I wonder for the first time if Julie's still alive. I never thought about it before.
Honey, it's a terrible, terrible day. I'm sure they're out there.
I realized that Jules could be dead at that very moment. I had to find Jules.
Gideon hitched a ride with 3 off-duty firemen, determined to get to the Trade Center the only way they could, in a pickup truck.
You shouldn't have even come in here, man.
Battalion 1 to Division 1.
We walk and we walk and we walk and... There are maydays being given, and we start to figure out, okay,
We should be able to get out here.
it's much be worse than we think, because you cannot have that many maydays and all that dust and that noise.
That's when I felt the danger for the first time. It was all around you. I mean, every single cell of your body was telling you, you should not be here. The scenery was radically different. I mean, it was this white powder everywhere.
Take yourself as mask. Get masked, we get an extra cylinder, and I'm gonna go in.
Just a few people here and there. And this kind of silence.
You have ambulances straight down. Thank you.
Of course, there's no word on casualties.
You have ambulances straight down.
But suffice to say, the loss of life presumably profound.
Ambulance straight down. Ambulance straight down. Hoorah!
At this point, everyone's concern is just getting north, getting away from the World Trade Center, as well as finding out where their families are.
The south tower of the World Trade Center just minutes ago collapsed to the ground. Only one tower is standing at this point.
I have a direct line of sight to what is left of the World Trade Center. The fire continues to burn. I can see the flames through the thick smoke.
By this time, Chief Pfeiffer had found a safe exit and tried to radio the men in the lobby. No answer.
So we walked across the bridge back towards the Trade Center. Still trying to call on the radio and not getting through.
The guys that we had left there, they're not there anymore.
They had already gone out another way, carrying the body of Father Michael Judge down the street to St. Peter's Church. They laid his body on the altar. Father Mike's death certificate is number 00001, the first official casualty of the attacks. The chief, his aide Eddie Fahey, and Jules walked outside, underneath the footbridge they just crossed, and into a scene that none of them could even comprehend.
And there's debris everywhere. There's dust covering the entire place. And we look, and the tower's here. So we say, okay, probably to something else. The tower is nice, it's standing. The other one, we can't see it, but it's probably just, on the other side, and no one tells us. We have no clue. So we walk north.
Just trying to figure out what took place here, and then try to gain some control. And then was it just a sense that this wasn't a good place to stay.
Chief Pfeiffer's priority was to set up a new command post and find his men. Right now, they were coming down the stairs.
At some point, I started to run. I don't even know if I was touching stairs on my way down. When I got about to 3 or 2 is when I started to think of my family, So I got to get out of here.
When we reached the lobby, I joked about it. I said the command post was abandoned. The board was set up and nobody was there. I said, oh, this is not a good sign.
I knew there was nothing I could really do. I mean, I was not a fireman. But as a cameraman, yeah, there was something I could do. And it was to document what was happening.
Strange enough, the only thing that was my preoccupation was to clean my lens.
Jules was with Chief Pfeiffer, who was plotting his next move. The firefighters from my house had reached the lobby and scattered.
Kind of walking at this point. We knew we were out of the building, felt we were safe. Unfortunately, there were people jumping out of windows. You could see them hitting the ground all around you, debris hitting the ground.
Get yourself accounted for with Chief Goring down at staging. Let's move. Come on, officers.
Basically, everybody was standing right in the shadow of Tower 1. It was 10:28 in the morning.
And this huge roar.
And I don't even have time to think at that point. I just run. Then I feel someone jumping on top of me, and then the dust.
At that point, I realized that I was going to die.
We need help.
the only thing I could think about was the truth. And I remember telling myself that if I would survive that, I would be a better brother.
Let's go before the car blow up! Come, keep this way!
And it's dead silence. It's nothing. No radio calls, no sound, nothing. And I feel the person who was on top of me get up.
Get out of here. You with me? Yeah.
And I recognize it's Chief Pfeiffer's voice. And I just realized it's just, it jumped on top of me to protect me from all this. Chief Pfeiffer said, okay, let's go now. And we get up. The dust starts to clear because the wind was blowing in the opposite direction.
After that, it was just trying to literally walk around the block and regroup and walk back to the scene and see what we could do.
Holy shit.
It was the most surreal scene I have ever seen. I cannot describe what took place.
It is a scene just not to be believed. The smoke's still billowing. What we do have is a lockdown. You can't get in, you can't get out, you can't go up, you can't go down.
I see that I'm still in the middle of the street, and I see there is a little deli. Seems to be open in the corner.
Yeah, we're getting O2 now. Oh, okay. Come on, guys. I was wondering my girl.
A lot of people injured. Firefighters, bloody nose, things like that. And then it hits me, but now where is my brother?
I was in the lobby. Go back here.
I start realizing that I've probably lost my brother. So I tried to go back to the World Trade Center. I need to go find my brother.
Where are the guys? I have no idea. I was with Chief Pfeiffer.
And I'm in the middle of the street walking, and a cop approached me and says, who are you with?
I'm with the chief of with Battalion 1.
Oh, you're Battalion 1? Yeah. You got ID?
I don't have ID. I have my letter from the commissioner.
Take your letter and your camera and get out of here. All right? Go.
So I go back up, walk north, not really knowing where I'm going.
Police department? No, I'm making a documentary on the fire department.
Come on, this ain't fucking Disneyland. Let's go.
And after a while, I said, there's nothing I can do here. I need to go back to the firehouse. Maybe they'll have some news, and maybe he's already back there. But at that point, I think he's dead. And it becomes too overwhelming.
not easy being a survivor. Little to little, the guys started to come back, one by one.
I can't explain why I'm here and there's so many dead. Very emotional. A lot of guys are crying. So many thoughts and emotions.
The way we lucked out, we were in one. Two fell first, and then they told us to get out.
Two fell first?
Two fell first.
I can't figure this out. One didn't fall first.
That's why they were getting us out.
We got to call our loved ones, tell them we were okay.
It was fucking sick. But we just got out. We just got out. I got up 2 blocks, and I'm like, I'm still not far enough. I got to promise this thing.
You know, you just needed to be with the guys, you know.
I couldn't get back in. They put me off.
I was never so glad to see firemen in my life. It was a great thing to know that people were surviving this.
I thought you guys were dead. Not the only one. I thought I was dead. That truck lost that truck.
That was the scariest thing when I came out.
It's like, oh my God, am I glad to see you.
We were the lucky ones.
I don't think it's luck. I mean, it's a miracle that we're here.
Miracle isn't a word you hear much from firefighters, especially not on that day. But what else could you call it? One guy after another was making it back. Safe.
Down here looking. I got thrown into 2 ambulances. We bolted, we ran.
I can't believe we all made it out. How did we make it out of that building? 30 seconds. Another 2 flights higher.
One guy from the firehouse came to me, and I asked him, you know, have you seen Jules? I mean, do you know where he is? And he looked at me and he said, yes, he's behind you. And I turned over, and Jules was there in the firehouse. I didn't even see him coming in. And it was like meeting for the first time.
Quoi? Écoutez-moi, moi j'étais en vie, je savais pas si tu étais dans le camion et je les voyais pas.
I asked Jules if he's all right. He tells me yes. He tells me that he was all that time in the lobby.
I tell him, I know now what it's like to think you're going to die. And then I tell him, I got the first plane and I filmed, and do you have enough tape?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Good to see you. All right, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, close?
Under.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, good, you're all right.
And it definitely was a miracle, you know?
Oh, fuck, man. We're worried about you guys. You don't know what happened to you guys. Oh, God. Everybody's all right? Everybody's accounted for?
Right here.
You got everybody? Right here. Everybody's accounted for?
Everybody come back one by one in the firehouse,
You all right? What's up, Patty?
except one.
Did you see Tony over there, Ben's house?
Tony.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Here we were, all accounted for, except for Tony. Everybody was wondering about Tony.
There is not anything recognizable of what were the 2 trade towers, nothing standing out from those clouds of dust at this time.
You guys were in the building? Yeah.
Oh, that day changed everything.
I think I got fibers in there. You got fibers in there.
When I came back that day to the firehouse, one firefighter came to me and he said, you know, yesterday you had one brother. Today you have 50.
Good to see you.
It's hard to even describe the emotions in the firehouse that day.
And it was just like, you heard the ground rumble, and it was just fucking debris was just chasing you. We were running, hauling ass. I mean, fucking.
On one hand, you're celebrating.
Very fightful day, man. Very happy to be here.
Somehow the guys from our house, they got out.
Come in the engine.
We lost so much in that 2-hour period.
How you doing, all right?
And we felt like we got the hell kicked out of us.
Shot, I don't know what to do, man. Go back down there or what? Fucking get shot.
At the same time, we knew hundreds of firefighters, thousands of people had to have died in those towers. And every hour that passed, we were more certain Tony Benetatos was one of them.
Hey guys, Deputy Chief Hill called. 1st Division, he doesn't want anybody else down here right now.
But the truth is, the guys had to go back, had to start digging for survivors. I had to go back and find the kid.
It's gone, man.
7 came down?
I got down there just as 7 World Trade finally collapsed.
Hey, Rick, they've been going live with you the whole time.
No sign of Tony anywhere. It had to be almost 6 o'clock. 9 hours after everything started.
Hey, Benetatos!
That Tony just walked in.
I walked in like a daze. And they were all like, hey, it's Benetatos, you're all right.
What's wrong with your hand? Anything?
No.
No?
How you doing?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. What happened on your end?
I was in the building.
Were you? Is everyone from the house? Everyone?
Everybody accounted for.
And I just asked, did everyone get back? And they were like, yeah. That felt pretty good.
I left here right after the first collapse.
Turns out, Tony had been with Larry Burns the whole time, the probie and the retired chief. They were right there when Tower 1 came down.
I checked all the rigs. There were rigs crushed, paramedic trucks covered with rubble, flipped, fires burning everywhere, huge fires. That whole day, I just searched through rubble, lifting things up, checking underneath.
It was hard for him. Just very hard for him. He's only been a firefighter for, you know, a couple of months. But he proved himself that day to all the guys, you know.
There was so much that we didn't know about that first day. Who had attacked us, how, why. All we knew is that nothing would ever be the same.
Just a short while ago, Mayor Giuliani held a news conference saying it's important not to lash out in anger because of the attacks on the World Trade Center.
You all right, brother? Yeah, I'm all right. One of the things that sticks with me more than everything I saw is I sat down next to Ted. He looked real bad. I said, Tony, man, it was raining bodies.
The roof of the Marriott, we were on the roof of the Marriott. There was part
cuts all over the fucking place. Legs, feet. It was nasty.
The man had been through hell.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
It's a very depressed, dismal, miserable mood.
Secretaries, businessmen and women, military.
Hundreds of your firemen, thousands of civilians are gone. As quickly as you blow out a match, they're gone. Flip a switch, they're gone. That's it. Those buildings came down. Gone.
It's hard to believe they're not there. They're not there.
It did happen, right? It's not something that I'm going to close my eyes and open them again and I'm going to see the tower, right? It's not there.
Around midnight, we sent Tony up to lower the flag to half-mast. Again.
There's going to be a lot of pain to deal with in the future. A lot of guys, we all lost friends and family.
I don't want to ever have to put that thing at half-mast again for the rest of my career. That's it.
Until the recall ends, it's 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, 24 off.
We got word that we'd start digging in the morning. Some of the guys with wives and kids went home, just for a few hours. They knew it might be days before they'd see their families again.
My son was sleeping. I picked him up, and I put him in my bed, and I wanted him to be with me. And normally I would take him out of my bed and put him in his own bed, but this night it was the opposite. He didn't mind that. He actually had a big smile on his face, and it was wonderful to see that smile again.
Probably the best entrance I ever made to a place.
And the kids came out, and we just kind of all cried in one big hug. And it was, we just cried.
I got 1 2.5 length right here. See a couple more guys down here. We'll start below line. Hey, just gonna climb up there. Keep the 3.5 in the middle so we can...
Came back to the firehouse the next day. I couldn't wait to get back, actually, because I wanted to get down there. I figured, well, we're gonna have plenty of people that are gonna be trapped, for sure. We're gonna get them out. We have to, we always do.
We're all alive. That's more than we could have possibly hoped for. So our job now is to go and do whatever needs to be done. And do it as much and as hard as we can for as long as they'll let us.
Some of the guys took a city bus down to what the media was already calling Ground Zero.
You guys got extra surgical gloves? You guys didn't put them in your pockets.
Some firemen called it the pile. For us, it was still the Trade Center, even if it was gone.
Hey guys, if you hear 3 horns, that means something might be coming down. So keep your eyes open when you're walking around down there.
And I just realized something that I always wanted to deny, is how evil can be.
I need 5 firefighters, 19 and 12.
And we went down there and formed up companies, 5-man and an officer. We went to work right away, trying to look for survivors.
Try to get some buckets back here. Buckets!
Guys were digging fast, passing those buckets quick. Digging frantically.
Bucket! Bucket! Hey, watch your back, guys.
We'd be digging, and all of a sudden everybody would say, quiet. And the whole place would get quiet, and people would look.
Hello!
And then slowly they would go back to work and start again. And that's how things went down there.
We'd clear what we could by hand. Then the iron workers would come in, cut the steel beams, and lift them out. Then we'd just start digging again.
You have 2 110-story office buildings. You don't find a desk. You don't find a chair. You don't find a telephone, a computer. The biggest piece of a telephone I found was half of the keypad, and it was about this big. The building collapsed to dust. How are we supposed to find anybody in this, that there's nothing left of the building?
Bucket!
We found a body. It was a girl. She was dead. She was definitely dead. All her clothes had been burned off her. She looked to be pregnant. Some people thought maybe she was just bloated, but I don't think so. She was encased in rubble. And we had her about halfway uncovered. We had getting the body bag ready, and then they told us to run. And we ran. So I never got to see if they got her out. But would have felt good saying, all right, at least I got one person out. One family will be able to have a decent funeral.
Our first shift was 24 hours, and in all that time, there was one person pulled out alive. One. It was beyond discouraging. It was even hard to understand. Walking back to the firehouse, people were cheering us, but we sure didn't feel like heroes. Every day, total strangers were showing up with supplies.
Somebody said that you could still use towels, so that's the end of the towels.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much.
I know it's early in the operation here, but I just wanted to thank everyone for all the hard work that they've been doing. How we're here, only God knows, but again, guys, thank you so much. You have no idea how much love I
Check the lockers, bro. Check the lockers, all the lockers, take whatever.
Listen, we tried to keep hope. But as days turned into weeks, you began to accept. there just wasn't anybody to find.
Hey, Chief.
Yes, sir.
We got another body over here.
Day after day, it pushed guys to their limit, maybe past it.
A lot of guys don't know if they're gonna do the job anymore. I know it's either this or the Army now. And I like saving lives, I don't like taking them. But after what I saw, if my country decides to send me to go kill, I'll do it now.
Every night, the fire department would put out a list of firefighters confirmed dead. And every night, that list got longer.
It is with regret that the department announces the deaths of the following members. Battalion Chief John P. Williamson. Firefighter William Henry. Firefighter Eric T. Allen. Firefighter Manuel Mojica. Firefighter Lawrence.
We lost so many people that everybody has lost dear friends, and not just one or two, but dozens.
Most days there was a memorial service for some guy you knew. Some days 2 or 3, some days 4. One of those services was for Kevin Pfeiffer, the chief's brother. He was last seen in the stairs of Tower 1, directing guys to the fastest way out of the building.
I would say that Chief Pfeiffer's brother saved my life. Saved a lot of lives.
And I remember walking down West Street and just remembering saying, how much my brother and I used to love being downtown and doing this job. And how now I didn't love it anymore.
Eventually, we started going on runs again.
Feels good, though.
And trying our best to love the job again. But things will never be the way they were.
Do you want the new tape?
As for Jules and Gideon, it's strange how things work out. In the beginning, they came to me and they said, let's make a documentary about a boy becoming a man during his 9-month probationary period. Turns out Tony became a man in about 9 hours, trying to help out on 9/11. You know how you can tell that? He's not bragging about it.
It said to Bill. We were the only ones on the ticket. It said to Bill 1075.
Do I feel like it's given me more of a sense of self-worth? Yes. Has it made me a man? No. What's a man? I don't think it's so much the severity of an event that alters who you are. I think it's how you interpret it that changes who you are.
We keep forgetting how many people were saved on that day.
Stay together.
On 9/11, firefighters saved 20,000 people.
To have that much respect for human life, I'm honored. Sometimes I still don't even think I'm worthy. But I am honored to be a fireman.
Here in the 9/11 Memorial Museum, the last column, as it's known, reminds visitors of the 343 members of the FDNY who lost their lives, the largest loss of firefighters in this country's history. 9/11 was a day that defined the end of an era and the dawn of another, making us understand we are vulnerable as a nation. And ever since, we've been adjusting to our new normal. Wars overseas, acts of terror at home and abroad, and an ever-present fear of where the next attack will come from. Tonight, we meet again some of the firefighters from the documentary who live the true meaning of heroism every day of their lives.
The firefighters of Engine 7 and Ladder 1 have a new responsibility soaring over the neighborhood, the Freedom Tower, World Trade Center 1. The firehouse on Duane Street is busier than ever. Only a handful from 9/11 are still there. One of them is John McConaughey.
The new guys that are coming on are just as good as the guys we had before. They're so eager to learn and work. Now I'm one of the old guys in the firehouse.
The firehouse now responds to nearly 6,000 emergencies a year.
There's nothing like getting on the rig, pulling down Broadway with the lights and sirens.
Johnny Mack, as he's called in the firehouse, had been there for 8 years on September 11th, 2001.
It was just a terrible day, and it's tough being the hero, or that's why I don't like that whole thing and whatever anybody says about that. We were there, we saw it firsthand. For me, the best thing I ever did was stay at the firehouse and stay down there. I think that was my therapy, you know? A lot of guys after 9/11 had a lot of trouble. Drinking and depression, post-traumatic stress. That's real, it's definitely real. You know, we had a lot of support groups, but the only really support group for, I think, the firemen were the other men, that's all, you know? The firehouse for me.
Bye, babe, have a good day.
Still, that same firehouse for Steve Rogers, too.
The firehouse is a big family. You know, you have your family at home, and your second family is a firehouse. And when something happens, the guys gather together, everybody steps up and does the right thing. It's what a family does.
And that's what Steve did when he rushed into work on 9/11, his day off.
I think truly 9/11 should be a national holiday. A lot of heroes that day. There was people that were doing extraordinary things, and they should be remembered.
Driving to work for 31 years, the changing skyline has meaning for him.
When I used to come over the bridge from Staten Island, come to work, and you look at the skyline, and you always see the Trade Center, the towers and everything. And for a long time, there was nothing there. Now you actually, it fills the void. It just makes you proud. It shows we're not going to stand for it.
Dennis Tardio retired in 2002.
Even if 9/11 never happened, it's a tough job to leave. There's no other job like it. The brotherhood, camaraderie.
He says not a day goes by without remembering.
When my head hits the pillow at night, I can see that plane hitting the tower.
It's hard to believe they're not there. They're not there.
That's etched in my mind and will always be there.
The memories also used to haunt Ron Schmutzler. He was promoted to chief the year after 9/11 and asked for a transfer.
I felt like I wanted to leave because every day you'd be driving by the site, so it was a reminder of my 343 guys.
But the FDNY had other plans for him.
I thought for sure I'd be moved. And the chief of department said, "We lost so many guys in Lower Manhattan, I'm going to ask you to stay. Stay for 2 years and help us out down there to rebuild the fire department, get us back to where we were." So I did. And after the 2 years was up, I stayed. And I became the battalion chief. And I watched the firehouses grow again. When you walk through here, you're gonna have to hold on. All right. And it was like a breath of fresh air to see the young guys coming back into the firehouse again. But it took years and years for us to rebuild and to get back to where we were. It's quite a view.
He's now in charge of all 7 fire companies in Lower Manhattan.
Now you look at the entire landscape down here has changed so fast, so rapidly. The high-rises that are going up, one building is bigger than the next. Seems like they can't build them big enough and they can't build them fast enough. We're looking at new ways of getting the firemen up fast to the fires. There's that many more people in the building to worry about.
Worrying about the public safety is also front and center for Chris Connor. He retired from the FDNY and he became a safety expert on construction sites.
As my luck would have it, I was assigned to work back at the World Trade Center. I was back at the scene of the crime, so to speak, back in a place where I never wanted to go again.
He has spent 7 of the last 10 years within the 16-acre site.
When I started to work there, it was still very much a hole in the ground. You had to literally walk down a 10-story ladder into the bottom of what we called the pit as firefighters. Eventually, when the below-grade construction was completed and the buildings started to come out of the ground, for me, that's when the magic happened. You really saw these beautiful, beautiful buildings.
The first of 5 towers planned for the site opened in 2014, World Trade Center 1. At 104 stories, 1,776 feet high, it's the tallest building in the United States, with a bomb-resistant base and, like most new high-rises, a concrete core.
They've gone above and beyond the New York City building code, which is very strict.
Also now open, the Marble Transportation Hub with its startling sculpture, Oculus. It took 12 years to complete and is the most expensive train station ever built. Cost, $4 billion. Safety for the rebuilt area, as well as all of New York City, rests on the shoulders of FDNY Commissioner Daniel Nigro.
Since 9/11, buildings have become stronger, and the record of high-rise buildings is that they are safe. As the city continues to grow vertically, and that's happening at such a rapid pace, we hope we have the ability to keep up with it, but it is certainly taxing to our people.
Chief Joseph Pfeiffer, who lost his brother Kevin, a lieutenant in the fire department, has turned that personal trauma into purpose.
The thoughts of my brother and losing him on 9/11 actually shapes a lot of my own thinking of how do we make it safer for our firefighters.
He was the FDNY's chief of counterterrorism and emergency preparedness, and drills together with the police department. He is invited to speak around the world and went to Paris after the November attacks.
Let me tell you some of my nightmares.
To share strategies with the French first responders.
The thing we're worried about is a vertical threat, multiple floors.
One of the things that we need to prepare for is to deal with a terrorist attack on high-rise buildings. The use of automatic weapons and explosives, and then the use of fire as a weapon.
The 9/11 firefighters, who now make up the FDNY's top brass, talk about managing the next attack.
Terrorism is always on your mind today. So when this does happen again, I think we will be a little more prepared.
Prepared so that nothing resembling that devastating death toll, losing 343 in one day, ever happens again.
There is such a thing as survivor's guilt, and I would have to say most of us who made it out that day have it. As somebody who was in charge that day, I probably have the biggest case in the department. But it's something one must learn to live with.
New York firefighters are also learning to live with the physical toll working at Ground Zero took on so many of them. Diagnosed with a variety of cancers linked to breathing in that 9/11 dust. In 2006, we talked to retired Chief Larry Burns about the gathering storm of disease.
There's something out there cooking in all of us, and I fear for what 10 years are going to bring us.
Our beloved Chief Larry Burns died from a 9/11 related cancer. The third from the Duane Street Firehouse. Now, there are names inscribed at the FDNY headquarters, firefighters who died from 9/11 related diseases. Among them, John Sullivan, who died of pancreatic cancer. His son, Mike, is a legacy kid, the FDNY's term for the new generation, related to firefighters who died in the line of duty 9/11.
It's not the day he passed away, but it's the day that made him pass away.
Mike works in Upper Manhattan, Ladder 34, the same firehouse as his father and grandfather.
What I like most about being on the job is, hands down, the family and where I am. Senior guys in the house are so amazing. They're like my uncles, and now we're brothers. They've taught me a lot between cooking, you know, that's the big thing. You know, a Hot Pocket guy before, now watch out. I'd spend my career in Hook and Ladder 34 because that's what I love. It's the most beautiful rig on the job. Those tillers are, you know, that's sexy right there.
The firehouse's street has been named for his father, John P. Sullivan Way.
The only thing that I can hope that one day is that I make an impact, that at the end of my career, I can put my boots next to his. I don't want to fill his. I can never fill his. I'm too emotional to fill his. He's tough box of nails, that guy. I'd do anything to have him back. He could have this job if it was meant my father standing in front of me today.
Our legacy kids are special. I think it says a lot about what's inside them. It most likely says a lot about their parents, and their parents, how they lived their lives.
And it was after 9/11 when I knew that I have to make sure that I get on this job. For me wanting to always be a firefighter, but for also me wanting to carry on my father's legacy.
Another legacy kid, Josephine Smith. Her dad, Kevin, was a hazmat specialist. Her father rushed to the towers after the first plane hit. He never came home, and his body was never recovered.
I remember always looking up at my dad. I'm like, you're gonna see, Dad. I'm gonna be a firefighter one day. Like, I'm gonna work with you. And he never said no. You know, he never said, no, I don't want you being a firefighter. No, you can't be a firefighter. Like, girls can't be firefighters. He never told me that. He would just smile. I always remember he would just look down at me and smile.
Josephine is now on the job with more than 11,000 men.
I'm small and petite, but I could still do the job. I want them to be able to trust me that I could have their back just as much as they could have my back. I've been there almost 2 years now, and I don't think there's one guy in the house that doesn't believe I can't do the job just as much as they can. My father is a hero. It's somebody I look up to still every day.
Woodley Joseph looks up to a hero too, his brother, Carl Henry Joseph.
My brother being on the job was probably the #1 reason why I probably became a firefighter.
His rig was found at Ground Zero, crushed. No remains have ever been recovered. Woodley finds solace visiting the 9/11 memorial.
Being on the site, trying to imagine like where he was, now knowing I'm a firefighter, and trying to imagine like how he felt that day.
His brother's name is inscribed with all those who died at the reflecting pools next to the 9/11 Memorial Museum, which opened in 2014. It holds a collection of more than 11,000 artifacts, including visceral reminders of all those firefighters who headed straight towards danger. A crushed fire truck that we remembered seeing in the street that day. Chief Pfeiffer's helmet is on display, as is Gideon O'Day's camera.
To see braveness, to see courage right in front of you, for me, has more of an imprint that the fear I experienced on that day.
The Naudet brothers were made honorary members of the FDNY. They have continued to live in New York and still make documentaries together.
This film for us is all about hope. It's all about the best of humanity at a moment where the worst is there.
I am now a director in Hollywood. I go to work now and I direct television, and I go home at the end of the day, and when I lie in bed and my head hits the pillow, I'm like a firefighter. And everyone always asks about Tony Bedentados, the probie from our film.
Now being a lieutenant, being in the fire department and being able to make a difference, it's the best profession I could ever hope to have.
Nice and comfortable?
He thinks he may have found the answer to the question, what makes a man?
Maybe getting up for work every day and then coming home and reading to your children and doing the dishes and taking care of your family. Maybe that's what defines a man.
Mommy?
Family is at the center of the lives of all these firefighters we've had the privilege of getting to know over these years. Chief Schmutzler's son, Stephen, is now a firefighter in Manhattan.
You had to go up 60 flights, no elevators? No. You know, I go to work and I go to fires and you just do your job. You don't really think about the danger until my son got on. And I think for the first time I realized what my wife was going through for the last 30 years. Because I go off to work and she's wondering if I'm coming home the next day.
They all say the horrors they witnessed and the challenges they face pale in comparison to the rewards of being on the job.
Every day is a great day in the fire department. But the danger is always there.
Tonight, the strength and beauty of this city is on display once again. From the top of the Freedom Tower, One World Observatory, now standing tall where the Twin Towers once stood, a symbol of this nation's resolve, rebirth, and resilience. I'm Dennis Leary. Thanks for watching, and good night.
The pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come your back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And when you come, and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying. and I will hear the soft you thread above me, and on my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love